So we're going to start, as I say, with a foot massage. You can either choose, I'm going to actually use a spiky ball this morning. I actually often use a tennis ball. But before we start, just get yourself into a good standing posture. So just hold whichever you're using. And just have that sense, just very briefly, of just trying to release the body. Make sure you're not holding on to any tension. Especially in standing, it's mostly in the knees, so just make sure the knees are not locked. Make sure at the moment that your buttocks are switched off, so we'll switch them on when we do our exercises. And just have that sense of being grounded from the hips down into the floor. But then in opposition, that sense of length in the spine, away from the hips and the neck gently lengthening away from the shoulders. Bring the shoulders up to your ears and then glide them down into your back. So they're just resting down there, but keeping this sense of distance between your shoulders and your ears. Just soften your face so your jaw isn't tight and your tongue is loose inside your mouth, and have that sense of your eyes being nice and light. And let's take a couple of breaths here, and as you breathe in, don't let your shoulders rise up, but really feel this rib cage expanding at the base, but still keeping that sense of length. So breathing in, lengthening through the spine. Then as you breathe out, still keep that sense of length in your spine. It's very easy as you breathe out to slightly collapse down into yourself. So when we do our foot massage, we're going to keep all these principles. And then we'll add a couple more in. So doesn't matter which foot you start with. We're going to do roughly a couple of minutes on each side. And on the leg that is supporting you, use that buttock. So really get that connection with the buttock. And keep the supporting foot flat. And then still keep that sense of length in the spine. So we're not massaging like this. So we're opening up here. It also creates space for all our internal organs. And you can get into as much of your foot as you can, pressing as deeply as your foot will allow. So obviously if it's very tight, go gently, but also if you find a spot that needs a bit of work, then you can really work into that. The good thing about the spiky ball is that you can get into the tips of your toes. You can just squeeze the ball and get into all the toes. Not quite so easy on the tennis ball, but you can still give yourself a really good foot massage with a tennis ball. Get into the heel of the foot or on the outside edge, but still keep strong in your supporting leg, still keep lengthened in your spine, face soft, shoulders down. So we'll just do another 20 seconds or so. Okay, and then let's stop massaging this foot. Pick up your ball and close your eyes and just take a note of the difference between the two legs. And hopefully you feel some benefit in the leg that you've been massaging. With the spiky ball, you often get a really tingly feeling, and have that awareness of how far up the leg, maybe into the lower back, sometimes even into the tips of the shoulder blades, you get that feeling of openness and waking everything up. So let's do the other side. So now you've changed your supporting leg, keep strong in that corresponding buttock, keep length in the spine, and work into this second foot. This is something that's really easy to do with your morning tea or your morning coffee. You can do it sitting, but you don't get quite that pressure on the ball. But if for some reason you find that it's aggravating anything, if you've got a hip and standing on one leg for any length of time is aggravating it, then you can sit on a chair and just make sure it's quite a high chair so you get that pressure on top of the wall. So keep nice and long in the spine, long in the neck. Try not to look down, but then if you've got a nice tall neck, the front and the back neck muscles are evenly connected. So another 15 seconds or so. Get into my toes. Really get in there. Okay, and then take the ball and just clock in to your body. So it's really useful learning how to clock in and focus on the body. You become much more body aware and notice little quirks and areas of tension that you might be holding on to. So put the ball down for the moment. We're going to do some standing stretches. Oh, actually, no, before we do that, let's rise up onto our toes and get a little opening in the body. So standing with the feet hip width apart, remembering to keep the big toe connected at all times. And we'll bring in the breathing and the arm circles at the same time. So rising onto your toes, so raising your heels, breathing in, bringing your arms up and stretching up to the ceiling. Breathing out, control how you roll down through the feet, the toes, the ball of the foot, the arch, and then the heel. Once the heel is down, do a little squat, go straight down, you get a nice stretch in the calf, keeping the knees hip width apart. So breathing in, stretching up, and breathing out. So you're getting nice, really nice deep breaths. Only when the heel is down do you do your squat, and then straighten, rising on up. And really opening out the body, breathing out. Let's do 2 more in this direction. So it's just a really nice gentle way of opening up and waking up the body and breathing out. But it's also really testing your balance, because don't go onto the outside edge of your foot. Keep your big toe grounded. 1 more here. And breathing out. And then straighten the legs, keep the toes where they are and just bring the heels together. So you have to use your inner thighs, your pelvic floor and your buttocks to keep those heels glued. And we'll do reverse arm circles. So breathing in, keep the heels connected, keep the big toe grounded, lift up, and then breathe out as you roll down through your feet. Don't close in across the front of the shoulders when you come back down. A little squat, breathing in. Each time you can challenge yourself, raise your heels a little bit more as long as the big toe stays grounded, and breathing out. So those heels stay connected. Sometimes people's knees don't allow it all the way through, but as much as you can. And down. Couple more. And last one. And then straighten. So I'm going to come onto my mat for the next one because the floor is a little bit hard on my heels. If you're on a carpet, then obviously it's fine. And we're going to do a standing hamstring stretch, the back of our thighs. So keeping the feet hip width apart, I'm going to take my left foot forward. You don't have to take it very far forward. Keep this left leg straight and bend the right knee, and then walk your hands down your left leg and just hold on to wherever you can reach. So keep straight behind the left knee, bending the right, and just hold on to wherever you can reach. It doesn't matter if it's up by the knee, just draw your body down towards your leg. Now, as long as you can keep your balance, bring your toes up. If you can reach, if you can't, just stay where you are. You don't have to bring the toes up. Just draw your body down a little bit more. Then drop the toes down, tuck the pelvis under, use the core, curl yourself back up, and then bring your left foot back. Let's do the other side. So take your right foot forward just a touch, keep your right leg straight, but bend your left knee now. Walk your hands down your right leg to wherever is comfortable. And then let's stay here for a few breaths, just drawing your body down towards the right leg, but keeping straight behind the knee. Then lift the toes up if you can. You can bend the left knee a bit more, but still keep the right leg straight. And then drop the right toes down, tuck the pelvis under, pull in the core, get the pelvis all the way back round to neutral, and then bring the right foot back. So with the standing quad stretch, if you want to be near a chair or a wall, then do so if you find your balance isn't quite good enough for the quad stretch, because the main emphasis on this is the quad. Balance is an extra benefit if you can manage it. So get strong on your supporting leg. I'm going to use my left leg as a supporting leg. Bring your right knee up. Don't grab out to the side, but test your balance. And then draw your right heel towards your right buttock. You can hold on with one arm and have the other arm out to the side for balance, or you can hold on to your foot with both hands. Just go according to how you can keep balanced. But whatever you do, don't arch your back. So tummy in, hips forward, and just lengthen your bent knee towards the floor. So if you want to do this against a wall or a chair, then obviously do so, because if your balance is such that you're not actually getting a quad stretch, then I wouldn't bother trying to do it freestanding. And then with control, release that foot back under the hip, so back to hip width apart. So let's get strong on our other leg now, always using the buttock of that leg and the inside thigh. Test your balance by bending down and reaching the front of the ankle, drawing the leg around. Either have this arm out for balance or hold on with both legs. So you're trying to keep the knees together. Tummy in, hips forward, so you're not arching the back in any way, and just lengthen that bent knee towards the floor. Getting a nice stretch, hips staying forward to help open out across the front of the hip a bit more. And then with control, let go and drop back under that hip. Well done. Okay, we're going to do the giraffe now. So I'm going to come back onto my mat for this. So have your feet wide and turned out. Keep the pelvis in neutral, so don't stick out the buttocks here. And now let's come forward with a flat back, hinging from these hip creases. And you can adjust your feet if you want to take them further apart or not quite so far apart. And let's just hang in the center here. So again, you're keeping straight behind the knee. You're not going to bend one leg. The hips stay where they are. So I'm now going to rotate my body through my waist to go over to I'll do the opposite to you, to the left leg with my right arm coming across. My right hip stays back and my left arm comes up to the ceiling. Keep your shoulder away from your ear. Look towards your fingers that are up to the ceiling to get as much movement in your neck. Stay up here for a breath or two, then you bring that top arm down. Both hands come back to the center together. Just check you haven't shifted your weight or bent one leg, and I'm now rotating over the right with my left arm coming across and holding on to the outside of my right leg. Bringing my right arm up to the ceiling, shoulder away from the ears. You get that nice stretch in your back. It's like your spine is a slippery pole and you're wrapping the barrel of your ribcage around that pole. Hope that makes sense to you. Top arm comes back down, both hands back to the center. Let's do 2 more in our own time. So after the first one, you can take the rotation a little bit more. So hold on to the outside of the leg, and then also the top arm just goes a bit further behind you to feel that you're getting more rotation in your spine. If you find that one side is tighter than the other, you can stay there for an extra breath. Get a little bit more of a rotation. It's a really good way of stretching out the inside thighs, the hamstrings, stretching out the spine in rotation. And let's do 1 more on each side. So by the third one, I'm really getting as much rotation as I can manage. Feel like I'm getting a nice squeeze in my back muscles. And then when I've done 3, I'm going to take my legs a little bit wider and just hang in the center here. Keeping straight behind the knees and just hanging down. Keeping my face soft. Just really enjoying this stretch. Just keep your breathing nice and gentle. If you find that you're tensed up, you've got your legs too wide, to bring them back a little bit nearer so you can relax. So now heel toe your feet back to hip width apart. If you need to bend your knees to do so, then do that. You can scoop in the core, tuck the pelvis around and roll yourself back up. Pelvis all the way back to neutral, and then the rest of the spine just floats on up. Okay, so we're going to do a nice side stretch now, so get a bit more of a stretch in the side of our back. So I'll do it the same way as you. So bring your left arm up and then your right, and hold on to your left wrist with your right hand and stretch your arms up, not the shoulders, but it's like you're lifting this ribs cage away from the pelvis. And then come over onto your right side. So keep really long in both arms. So really lifting that left arm away so you're getting that nice stretch in the left side of your body. And again, as you go over more, you're going over in a sort of top diagonal, not collapsing in your waist. So lift all the time. And then pull in your core to come back to the center. Now swap over, hold on to your right wrist with your left arm, lift up and over. So I'm aiming for the top diagonal on the wall to my left, getting a nice stretch in the right side of my spine, and in the right side of my rib cage, come back to the center. So now bring your arms back by your side, or going to keep that sort of principle of keeping lifted out of the way. So bring your left arm up again, but keep your right arm by your side. But now lift up. Keep that sense of lift that we had when you were holding on to your wrist. But this arm now, your right arm draws down, keep the shoulder away from the ears, and sort of make a mental note of where your fingertips reach. But again, you're still keeping lifted here, and then pull in your core back to the center and bring this arm down. And bring your right arm up, shoulder stays down, and just lift up out of your waist. Keep lifting up out of that waist as you draw your left arm down, and make a mental note of where your fingertips are. And then we'll do 1 more on each side and see if you can go just a tiny bit more. So 1 more on this side, left arm up, lift up. Just lifting the rib cage away from the hips, the pelvis, without the shoulder rising up. Keep that right arm long. Come up. And then last time, so right arm up, lift out of the waist, left arm drawing down, and then come back to the front. Good, so there's a nice little wake up for the body. So let's come onto the mat and come to sitting. We're going to do, we did these a couple of weeks ago, the half rollbacks with a bit of rotation. So it's entirely up to you how far you roll back. The further you roll back, the more of a challenge. But then whatever you do, don't arch the back and make sure that you can stay relatively relaxed. So sitting nice and tall, have your arms straight in front of you. The feet don't have to be flat here. It doesn't matter if the toes are coming off, but have your legs bent. Then sit tall and tuck this pelvis under you and roll yourself back. See how far you can get. Now you've got to keep your pelvis tucked under you. So now I'm going to rotate one arm out to the side and back to the center. The hips stay where they are. Rotate the other arm out to the side and back to the center. So you only need to take your arm out a little bit. Your pelvis is still tucked under. And now come up from here, keeping in this curve until you're right back on your sit bones and then sit tall. So breathing in, tuck that pelvis under. So maybe start with not going back too far and then do this rotation here. So whatever you do, don't flatten out your back. Keep this tummy pulled in, keep this curve in your spine. One rotation, it depends how far you go back. You might want to do a tiny rotation. Work from these abdominal muscles to come forward. Keep in the curve until you're back on your sit bones and then sit tall. We're going to do another 4. So if you find that you're a bit ambitious the first time and you're starting to feel uncomfortable, just do a tiny little curl back. You can still keep this tucked in, still keep this curve. You can just do a little rotation. Back to the center, a little rotation. You're still working from these abdominals and then you come forward and sit tall. Make sure you're not having any tension in your thighs. If you are, you're going back too far. Go back to a point where you can work solely from these abdominals. Keep these thighs switched off. And you rotate. Use these muscles around your rib cage and your middle. And then come forward, then sit tall. 2 more. Breathing in to sit tall, breathe out. Tuck that pelvis under. Keep it tucked under. Shoulders relaxed, abdominals working. If it's getting too intense for you, don't take it too far back. And then come forward in the curve, only sitting tall when you're right back on your sit bones. Last one. Tucking this pelvis under, keeping it tucked under. That's the most important thing. There shouldn't be any discomfort in your lower back whatsoever. Come back to the center, keep in the curve to roll forward and sit nice and tall. Well done, good. So now we're going to do our core work, but we're going to use the spiky balls today. So we also give ourselves a little bit of a buttock massage. So you can have, this is why you need 2 balls, because you've got 2 buttocks. Either your tennis balls or your spiky balls. I'm going to use the spiky balls today. So let's roll ourselves back. Get yourself into a good relaxation position. So feet and knees hip width apart. And your heels quite near your buttocks, your feet are nice and flat. And then lift up the pelvis and put these balls under the fleshy part of your buttock muscles, slightly higher than lower. Make sure you haven't tipped your pelvis forward, so use this core abdominal muscle to keep the pelvis back. So I think all of you, make sure that you don't feel like you're about to fall off them. You can adjust these at any time. You can manage with your arms tucked around your waist for this. If you don't have to. If you feel that's uncomfortable, then put your arms by your side. And come into a double knee fold. Now, when you do this, you should feel that your buttocks are really pressing and sinking on top of those balls. So if you need to adjust them at any time, then probably now is a good time. So we're going to do our leg up to the ceiling and lower. So breathe in and point 1 foot up to the ceiling, stretching behind the knee. This knee stays above its hip, and then lower this leg. Keep the pelvis back in neutral, no arching in the back. The lower you lower the leg, you get this opening out the front of the thigh. Use your core to draw this leg all the way back up to the ceiling and then back into a knee fold. So breathing in, just point the other foot up to the ceiling. Breathing out to lower. So as you lower one leg, this leg stays back in its original position, the foot softly pointed and the shin roughly parallel to the floor. And then breathe in, bring the leg all the way back up to the ceiling and back into a knee fold. So we're going to do another 3 on each side. If you need to adjust the balls, if they're slipping or they don't feel that they're quite in the right place, you should really feel they're getting right into that big buttock muscle. Keep the pelvis back in neutral. It doesn't come out of its original position. No arching in the back, shoulders relaxed. Keep pulling in that lower abdominal. And keep challenging yourself to see if you can take the leg a bit lower. But don't bend at the knee. Keep the leg straight and you get this lovely stretch. Well, it's a gentle stretch across the front of the top of the hip and thigh. Using that core muscle to draw the leg back up. And one more on each side. Keeping the legs in line with the hips. And last one on this leg. And back up. And then use your core, come out of your double knee fold. Again, still keeping this pelvis where you are. And then take the balls and just pull them just out to the side enough that you can get your sacrum and pelvis back on the mat. But the balls are still wedged, and they should be wedged now in the side of the buttocks. You can tell if you just do a little quick test, if you relax one knee out and just get it to the point where it's going to sink into the right spot. So it's got to be quite wedged, well wedged, but you can still feel your sacrum on the mat. Okay, so we're going to do knee drops, but it also uses your core to stop your pelvis coming out of neutral east to west. So put your fingers on the inside of your hip bones here, on the outside edge of that muscle. Now imagine you've got this thread from the pubic bone or the pelvic floor up your inner thigh, and just relax one knee out to the side. Really keep this relaxed. Now I'm relaxing my left knee out, you want to make sure the right side of your pelvis does not come off the mat in any way. And the right knee stays up in line with the right hip. It doesn't start to creep out. So you're using this core muscle to help with that, and then just sinking into this ball for a breath or two. And now pull in your pelvic floor as much as this lower abdominal. Imagine you're drawing this thread from the inside of your knee all the way up through into the pelvic floor. So you try and get that pelvic floor connection until the knee's back up in line with the hip. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, pull in your core and relax your other knee out. I'm doing my right knee. My left knee stays up in line with the left hip. This imaginary thread is lengthening through the inside of my inner thigh, and I'm relaxing on this ball now for a couple of breaths. So let your leg, your bent knee, just sink into that ball, into the buttock. And then as you come back to the center, using your pelvic floor and this lower abdominal, draw this imaginary thread. Bringing the knee back up in line with the hip. The other side, breathing in, breathing out, pulling in the core, this lower abdominal and the pelvic floor, relaxing my left knee out, staying relaxed while it sinks, my buttock sinks into the spiky ball. And then even maybe going a bit further, but without losing neutral pelvis. I got a cough. And then coming back on an out breath, engaging this lower abdominal pelvic floor inside, bringing this knee back up. And then on the next out breath, engaging the core and relaxing the right knee out without losing neutral. Staying here and allowing the ball to sink into my buttock. Make sure there's no tension in your leg that's out to the side, in this case my right. And then come back to neutral using your pelvic floor. Let's do one more on each side. Let it sink into that ball. Keep your face soft, everything relaxed. Just really give in to this, but without losing neutral. And then coming back to the center, pulling in this lower abdominal, pulling up through the inside of your pelvic floor muscles. And the last time, on an out breath, lengthening the bent knee out to the side. Make sure the pelvis stays level. You should feel the muscles working under your fingertips. Staying here for a breath or two and letting this leg sink into the ball. And then coming back to neutral. And then take the balls away and then curl your pelvis back onto the mat and put your balls to one side. Okay, we're going to do some more obliques. So interlink your fingers behind your head. Have your arms out to the side without arching the back. So you can either do the obliques from here, bringing one elbow to the opposite knee and back. For those of you who want a bit more of a challenge, come into your double knee fold. And we're going to do 20 in total. So you can do 20 alternate or 10 on one side and 10 on the other. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, curl yourself up and across. Other leg lengthens away and back. Breathing out. Breathing in. And use the muscles around the front of your rib cage to bring your elbow up to the opposite knee. Don't yank your elbow across your neck or your head to try and reach the knee. It's rotating from the oblique muscles on the front of the rib cage. Curling up as much as you can. The emphasis is more on you curling up to reach the knee than the knee coming right up to meet the elbow. That's 6. 8. So each time, drawing those abdominals, they're drawing diagonally across the front of your body. So from the upper rib cage on one side to the lower rib cage on the other, the hips staying grounded. That's 11. 12. No tension in the neck whatsoever. Use your abdominals to curl up. 14. 15. 16. 17. One more on each side. Really curl up as much as you can. And then stay curled back down and hug your knees into your shoulders. And then come out of your double knee fold using your core. We're going to come to sitting. So either come onto your side sitting or lengthen your legs, hands on your thighs, and roll yourself up. Once you're sitting tall, let's get a nice stretch over our legs. Nice deep breath into your back here. And then walk your hands back up your legs and sit nice and tall. Okay, so come onto all fours. Get yourself into a good 4-point kneeling position. And we're going to do the cat. So just a quick recap on 4-point kneeling. The knees are below the hips. The wrists are below the shoulders. Neutral pelvis is not sinking into your lower back or arching the back, but having that sense of these sit bones reaching away towards the back wall, so you could just get a spoonful of water in your lower back here. Using your abdominals to give you support from underneath and never sinking into the mat. So use your whole body to stay lengthened away from your wrists. So we're going to, each part of the cat, we're going to start from the pelvis and work sequentially up the spine. When you first start, squeeze the buttocks, pull in your core and see how far you can get this pelvis tucked around without bringing the rib cage into it. So what we call a kitten. So it's quite a lot of work for a very little bit of movement. Then keep tucking the pelvis around, starting to lift your spine towards the ceiling, and then you drop your head between your arms. And stay here and reach away from your wrists so you get this lovely stretch between your shoulder blades. Then keep the head down, start from the pelvis, start to lengthen through the spine so the buttocks are stretching towards the back wall. I'm uncurling my spine, and then I bring my head up and I'm reaching like my chest towards the front wall and my buttocks towards the back. And I keep the head up, pull in the core, tuck the pelvis around, continue to work from the base of the spine, traveling up the spine. So the hips are staying above the knees. Stay here and reach away from the wrists, get a stretch through the shoulder blades, and keep the head down as you start from the pelvis. Lengthening through the spine. Don't sink into your wrists. Bring your head up and reach your chest towards the front, your buttocks towards the back. Keep the head up, pull in your core, tuck that pelvis around as much as you can before you start bringing the rest of your spine up to the ceiling. Staying here for a breath, getting a good stretch between the shoulder blades. Head stays down as you start from the pelvis. Keep the tummy pulled in. Lengthen through the spine. So you're getting like this oppositional stretch where you're reaching one end of the spine to the back wall and the other end to the front wall. Let's do one more each way, starting from the pelvis. Your focus should be traveling up your spine, ending with your head. Staying for a full breath to get that stretch between the shoulder blades. And then starting from the pelvis, we'll get one more stretch the other way. Sticking your buttocks to the back wall, your chest to the front. And then come back to neutral. And then drop yourself back into the rest position. If your knees don't allow for this, you can come onto your back and hug your knees into your chest. But take a couple of nice deep breaths here. And then come to sitting on your heels or come into high kneeling again if your knees don't allow. So if you can sit on your heels, let's use this opportunity just to go back a little bit, and then we get a nice stretch through the knees and through the quads here. And then come to sitting nice and tall. So we'll come to lying on our front, and we're going to take our spine the other way now into full extension. Cat does bring a bit of extension, but we're going to work the back a bit more with the Cobra. So come to lying on your front. Make sure you don't compress your chest up towards your throat. Have your legs wider than your hips, heels towards each other, toes away. And then have your arms wide so you're nice and open across the front of the shoulders, with your thumb roughly in line with your temple, which is in line with your eye, which is equivalent to the top of your spine. So elbows relaxed on the floor, shoulders away from the ears. So take a breath in. As you breathe out, pull in your core, not your buttocks. Roll your imaginary marble in front of your nose, get a little curve in your neck. Then use the muscles from the base of the neck working down between the shoulder blades. And then you can transfer a little bit of weight into your hands. Don't push anything. Stay, just come up for a little way for the first one. Stay up here for a full breath, keeping the shoulders open and away from your ears. And then keep your tummy scooped in as you come back down. Get your elbows onto the floor as soon as you can. And then your neck and your head come down last. Take a breath in. Breathe out, pull in your core. So do this at your own pace. We've done this lots of times now, so you know not to push through your hands. You're using the muscles between the shoulder blades, and as your spine starts to lengthen in this direction, you come up a little bit further. Always stay up for a full in-breath. You're getting that stretch from the pubic bone all the way up through the front of your spine. Front of your neck is also part of your spine. Coming back down in reverse from the lower part of your back, working up to the top with the neck and the head coming last. So do 4 more in your own pace. So you're getting a gentle backward curve in the spine, but also using the back muscles to lift you. Your hands are just a point of contact in which you can transfer your weight. You don't push off with your hands. Your hip bones stay on the mat and you're lengthening all the time away from your lower back. Try and keep the buttocks switched off if you can and just use your core. So you're never putting any compression down into your lower back. The back starts to open up a bit more, but don't force anything. Hips down, lengthening away from the lower back. Get the elbows down as soon as you can, so you start using the muscles between your shoulder blades as soon as possible. I'm going to do 2 more. Keep that core pulled in. Make sure the hip bones stay gently connected with your mat. So it doesn't matter if you never get your arms straight. If your back doesn't want that, then your back doesn't want that. You mustn't force anything. And last one. Lengthening through the front of my spine and keep lengthening as I come back down. So when you've done your 6 or thereabouts, push yourself up briefly into the rest position, or come onto your back and hug your knees in. Nice deep breath into your back here. And then come to sitting either on your heels or you can come in to high kneeling. So now let's come onto our back and we're going to do the piriformis and glute stretches and then some hip rolls to finish. Okay, so get yourself back into your relaxation position. Feet and knees hip width apart. Feet nice and flat. So bring your right foot to the outside of your left thigh. Take hold of your right knee and draw up across the body to the left shoulder and the left ear. But keep the left foot flat and the left knee in line with the left hip. If any of you ever get any pinching, just readjust yourself and see if you can get rid of that. Or if you really don't get rid of it, then just push your knee away. You're not getting quite the same stretch, but it's definitely better than nothing. You want to keep your foot right on the outside of your thigh. It doesn't matter if it's up here, wherever you're getting a good stretch, but to increase the stretch, you bring your foot further up the outside of the thigh. Keep your face soft here. Keep drawing that knee up in an upward direction, getting a nice stretch into my right hip, right buttock. And now keep hold of the right knee, bring the left leg up, and now reach the right foot. So one hand on the right foot, one hand on the right knee. Using your hands and your left thigh, draw your right leg towards your upper body. Let's do some ankle circles on our left ankle here. We didn't do any of these at the beginning, so it's a good time to do them now. Go in both directions. Keep pulling your right leg towards you though. Still keeping that stretch in the glutes. Okay, still your left foot so you can focus on the next stretch. So now keep pulling your right foot, but push the right knee away. Not the leg, you still use the left thigh so that your right leg is up near your upper body as much as possible, but you're pulling the foot and pushing the knee. You get into a different area within the buttocks and it's often quite intense. So only take it to a level that you can stay relaxed. So if you find you're really tensing, just ease it off. Get your breath nice and soft, and then you can take it a bit further, but staying in that nice relaxed state. So use your breath, visualize your breath going into any areas of tension and just let that area release and let go. And then now drop your left foot back on the mat and now let your right leg hang over. So the back of the right knee is over the left thigh. Arms by your side, palms down to keep your shoulders stabilized. And slowly take your knees over to the right and it'll draw the left hip off, but keep the left shoulder blade nicely relaxed on the mat. You can turn your head to the left as well and get a gentle stretch on the right side of the neck. Both shoulders away from your ears, keep your jaw relaxed. And let your right leg be really relaxed and heavy over your left thigh. And you get this nice gentle stretch in your lower back on the left and also across the top of the left thigh, left hip. Getting you a nice stretch there. Now come back to the center without arching the back, so pull in your core, get your back on the mat from the top to the bottom. Keep the legs crossed as they are and take your knees and hips to your left now. You can roll your head to the right, get a stretch in the left side of the neck. So now if you want to draw your right hip off a bit more, you can put your left hand by your right knee and gently draw the right hip over a bit more, but only if you can keep the right shoulder blade totally relaxed where it was on the mat. And let's stay here for a couple of breaths. Try and get a bit more of a stretch on my left side of my neck by taking my head over a bit further. But still keep the jaw relaxed, the face soft. So getting a really nice sort of corkscrew movement in the spine without any sense of discomfort in the lower back. So don't take it too far. If you find the lower back starting to come into the equation in an uncomfortable way, then just relax or release the stretch a bit. And come back to the center using your core, back on the mat from the top to the bottom, and uncross the legs back into your relaxation position. So let's do the other side now. Left foot to the outside of the right thigh, take hold of the left knee and draw up across the body to the right shoulder, keeping the right knee in line with the right hip. If I let my knee drop into the midline, I'll lose my stretch. So getting a really good stretch now in my left buttock, left hip. To increase the stretch, I just bring my foot further up the outside of my thigh. Stay relaxed in this. Don't tense up. Keep gently breathing. Now keep hold of that left knee. Bring the right leg up and reach the left foot. One hand on the left foot, one hand on the left knee, using your hands on your right thigh to bring your left leg up towards your upper body. And let's do some ankle circles on the right ankle. Go in both directions. Keep pulling your left foot towards your upper body. Now still your right foot so you can focus on the next stretch. Keep pulling your left foot, but push your left knee. But still use your right thigh to help keep that leg up towards your upper body. So don't make this so intense that you're tensing. Use your breath to stay relaxed in this stretch. Keep pushing the knee, keep pulling the foot. And now drop your right foot back on the mat. Let your left leg hang right over your right thigh, arms by your side. Take your knees and hips to your right. Roll your head to the left. Keep your left shoulder blade relaxed. Now, if you want your left hip to come off a bit more, right hand on the left knee and just draw that hip over. But I'm still keeping my left shoulder blade totally relaxed where it was. Take my head a bit more to the left, get a bit more of a stretch in the right side of my neck. Both shoulders away from the ears. And just breathe into this for a few breaths. And then pull in your core to come back to the center. Keep the legs crossed as they are and take them over to the left, turning your head to the right. So now you've got your left leg over your right thigh, which draws the right hip off. So just let that leg be relaxed. Check you're not holding on to any tension there. Turning my head a little bit more to the left, I get a nice stretch in the left, turn my head a bit more to the right, so I get a stretch in the left side of my neck, keeping my jaw relaxed and my face soft. Just breathing in, just keep making sure that your left leg isn't tensing up over the right thigh. And then coming back to the center by using your core, getting your back reconnected from the top to the bottom, and then uncross your legs. So we've got a couple of minutes left here. So if you want to take one of your spiky balls, I am going to lengthen my right leg and bend the left, I'll do as I said. I'm going to straighten my right leg and bend my left leg. But I am going to put this spiky ball under my left hip here. So we're going to relax just for a minute on each side. Keep the right leg in line with the right hip. Just let this left leg just relax out to the side, sinking into this ball. If you don't want to use the ball, you don't have to. But if you want to, then it just gives you a little extra massage. And let's just stay here, focusing on keeping everything nice and relaxed. Your arms, wherever they happen to fall, they don't have to necessarily be by your side. And we'll do a couple of neck rolls also while we're here. So turn your head one side, keeping both shoulders away from your ears and your jaw and face soft. And then bring your head back to the center. And then roll the other way. And then come back to the center. Let's swap our legs around now. So now I'm going to straighten my left leg, bend my right leg, put the ball under my right buttock. So let my right leg be totally relaxed out and let my buttocks sink into the ball. And let's do a couple more neck rolls. Sorry, I got my lefts and my rights and my parts of my body completely muddled up today. And let the head roll back to the center and roll the other way. Gentle breathing. Let your bent leg just stay relaxed. Then bring your head back to the center. Take the ball from under your buttock and lengthen your right leg. Put your hands on top of your thighs and roll yourself up to sitting. If you don't want to roll yourself up, come onto your side to come to sitting. But when you're up to sitting, right on those sit bones, sit tall and then lengthen over your legs, stretching from your lower back. Hold on to wherever you can comfortably reach, and then using your hands on your legs, just gently lengthen from the lower back to bring your body over your legs a tiny bit further. Stay here for a couple of deep breaths into the back of your rib cage. Really feel your rib cage expand at the back as you breathe in. And then walk your hands back up your legs. Sit nice and tall. Well done, everyone. Thank you very much.